Hello, here I am with a mini review of this book called End of Watch by Stephen King. And if you haven't checked out my other videos, the reviews of Finders Keepers and what was the other one, Mr. Mercedes, then yeah, I would keep watching this, but at a certain point, I'll just give you an advisory and just let you know you might want to stop and first go back to my review of Mr. Mercedes, because this really is a series, and it is kind of written where you could read in the middle of the series, but if you do, it won't be as good. So anyway, I highly recommend you check out the book Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. And if you have read Mr. Mercedes, go ahead and catch up and start reading Finders Keepers. So anyway, I have this image, and it's of the book art that I grabbed from Stephen King's webpage. So it says Stephen King End of Watch, and it's not to be confused with the with a movie End of Watch. It's completely different, although the title is similar, because it's a crime story that involves a retired detective by the name of William K. Hodges, or Kermit Hodges, and William Kermit Hodges. And he has an adversary who is the Mercedes killer. And at this point, I'll ask you, if you haven't read Mr. Mercedes, just to stop the review and take my word for it that End of Watch is a really frightening, really chilling page turner of a book that is, it's outright scary and really fascinating, and a good follow-up to Mr. Mercedes. But if you have not read Mr. Mercedes, I might have some mild spoilers here, but if you don't care, then continue watching this mini review. So anyway, like I was saying, Mr. Mercedes actually, he's a younger character. When you start off reading Mr. Mercedes, well, to me it seemed at least like, oh, I don't know this guy's age, but he turns out to be in his late 20s, something like that, and so at this point, the Mercedes killer is crippled, and he's in a hospital, and there's nurses, and he does try to go after the nurses, and he actually succeeds in making a couple of nurses kill themselves, and that is the opening theme of the story, which continues throughout, the theme of suicide, and a real evil character who doesn't mind to provoke it. And at this point, the killer, well, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but yeah, the killer, well, he's brain damaged because he was attacked by one of the characters named Holly Gibney. Sorry, I know I'm getting some of these names wrong. Anyway, yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. Anyway, I thought I'll talk to you guys about the television show, and it should be getting closer to being in development, and actually Anton Yelchin, was that his name? I think that's I almost want to double check his name, because I'm kind of slipping. I think it's Anton Yelchin. He was in the new Star Trek. He played Chekhov. He died, and he was going to play the role of Mr. Mercedes. And the unfortunate thing about Yelchin, Anton Yelchin, is that when I read the book Mr. Mercedes, I pictured him right away, and I wasn't aware of the actor, but I was like, wow, that was the image that came to mind whenever I was reading about the character. And Yelchin was killed by his own car. It was a Jeep, and he was just checking his mail, and his car it rolls down the hill backwards, and it slams into him, and it crushed him, and he was just on his way to rehearsals. So now for the show, Harry Treadaway will probably be playing Brady Hartsfield, the ruthless character who is a killer, and a killer to say the least, just a monster. And yeah, like I was saying in one of my other reviews, Reviews, Brandon Gleeson will be Detective Hodges, the retired detective who goes after this deranged a-hole. And, well, anyway, you should check out the TV show. I hope it's good. And so, end of watch. I mean, this was a terrific way to end it. And, you know, on the back, there's a device called a Zap-It. And this Zap-It is like a kind of like a tablet and like a Game Boy, and it's a part of the story too. I'm not going to give anything away. And the fish, it all means something. There's fish on the cover. I really just don't want to spoil it for you, because it's a real terrifying, and it gets more into the Stephen King world, where Stephen King likes to he likes to make his books supernatural, and supposedly his stories all take place in a universe where, like, The Stand can be going on at the same time as The Shining, and like, it's all the same universe, like, so it's one big world where there's ghosts, and all the stuff that exists in Stephen King's books could exist in his other novels too.